Welcome back to Mental Health Matters. We got a great show for you today. We got our special co-host Nicole is going to be with us today.
Hello.
And a special guest,
Hi.
which she will introduce herself in a second. This is KRU 100.1 in your FM dial, Mental Health Matters with Dr. Scott Terry, who I happen to be for some reason. And if you want to get a hold of these shows, a bunch are archived at krufm.com. And a bunch of these, you could also see not only the hear the radio shows, but you could also watch a YouTube. Really cool how we have this as made this into YouTube videos, by the way. So well worth watching some of these. Really kind of fun, interesting ways we got this. And to do that, you could simply you could either go to Ardent Counseling Center on YouTube, or you could go to ardentcenter.com. So www.ardentcenter.com and go into the media tab and you will see them listed out. All right. Enough of this about us. By the way, just as an aside to everybody, this is our 109th show.
Woo!
109th show.
Gosh.
That's great.
I'm honored.
Yes.
Honored to be a part.
Yes. Excellent. So, Nicole, introduce yourself and tell us about what we're doing today.
Well, I'd be happy to, Scott. Today we're going to be, well, first of all, let me introduce myself. I am Nicole Hester Williams, and I do work for the Fairfield Ledger in Fairfield, Iowa. And
So it's a local newspaper.
It's a local newspaper. It's the
So
local
for those
daily.
of you that aren't in Fairfield, yeah.
And so today we are going to be talking with Professor Promila and she
Ooh,
is...
you say that so nicely.
Yes, isn't it beautiful? It just kind of
It
flows
rolls
off
off
the
your tongue, doesn't
it's
it? Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
And she's a beautiful person and very, very amazing woman. She's doing a lot of things here in Fairfield, but she's also doing a lot of things where she's from, over in, is it the Lucknow province in India?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
I
she's
like
doing
as
a lot of
we
things.
compliment
Yeah.
her how she smiles and
Yes,
turns
she's
away.
she's so bashful.
Yes, but it's good. It's
But
good.
that's greatness for you. So,
Okay.
but I'd like to go ahead and move this right on over to her for her to introduce herself.
Hi, this is Promila Bahadur. I'm a PhD in computer science. I have a school back in India which is taking care of imparting education to unprivileged. This is school
Unprivileged.
students. I mean,
Yeah.
unprivileged students who cannot afford to have who cannot afford to pay for the computer education, which is real costly.
Right.
So our school is taking care of that, and I'm the mentor for that school. So that is me, and currently I'm working with Maharishi University of Management as a professor.
But you're not just over that school. She actually founded this school.
You founded the
She
school?
founded this
Yeah.
school.
Wow,
Good.
nice.
Were you a university student at the time, or were you just coming out of university, your undergrad, or how did that happen?
Yeah, I was
how
just-
did you found a school? I mean, I can't even conceive of how someone does that.
I found that school when I was doing my graduation, and I started realize this is a place, like it was a place around 5 miles away from my home, and I started realizing that everybody is not so privileged as I was. Like my parents can afford to pay that hefty computer science education fees. So going into that village, I was very surprised to see in 20th century we had that village, and that was in the year 2004. So I just started thinking of that, can we have a school which can impart some education, and we can have that education free of cost, so that students can be happy and they can have a better and bright future. So it was related to their enhancing their self-knowledge, self-confidence, and the knowledge levels.
How do you pay for this school? You get grants, loans, what?
No, actually, I'm a very shy person in that case. I was very shy to ask for grants or loans. So what I did, I started taking lectures in evening at some institutions, and they used to pay me for that. And then I used to pay this, and I used to take use of this salary and run this school. I'm
So
really
you took your own money.
my own
Oh,
money.
and she
yes.
still does.
Right.
She still does today.
Wow.
So I'm really thankful to my parents and my family. They never stopped me actually from doing it.
But I know you're too shy to ask, but would you actually accept donations to the school if somebody actually wanted to find out about this place?
Well, yes, I would be happy to accept donations if somebody finds out and appreciates and shares my
what
ideas.
is the school? What's the website?
The website is, I have a website, promila.in. So
You're going to have to spell that.
Yeah.
For those of us that don't even know how to spell anything.
So it is PROMILA .in. So that is promila.in.
INN?
ILA.in. So.
Oh, ILN.
So I just write that for you.
Okay.
There it is.
Oh, interesting. So is that what it is for India? Is like that? IN for India, of course.
So
right. As opposed to US or Australia, I know the .eu.
Okay.
Okay. Cool.
.au for Australia.
Okay, yeah. So that's fantastic. And I know you're too shy and you didn't ask me to even, and I'm not trying to plug your place. I'm just saying if somebody's listening to the show and they want to find out more about this and how it obviously, we're going to talk about mental health issues. And part of what you're doing is single-handedly trying to pull people out of poverty and give them a real education where they could do something to make a difference in this world. Because that's what it always comes back to is how can we serve? How can we make a greater difference in this world? And by doing so, we can make a greater difference to ourselves. For those of us that are, for instance, depressed, one of the best things you could do is to volunteer and to make a difference to somebody else is a way to make a difference to yourself.
Yeah, that's true.
Absolutely.
So, like, starting with this school, I started saying, I was happy that these girls who are from a Muslim.
So it's all girls?
No, now we had girls, we have boys, we have people from every sector of the society in the school.
Really? Even people who... So it's... How many students do you have?
Until date, we have educated around 2,000 students.
2,000 students?
In the last 12 years.
Okay, so how many current students do you have?
Currently, we have, currently we have around 100 students.
That's pretty sizable. And how? What ages?
So they are in the age of from 16 to 40. They are different ages.
To 40?
Yeah, 40.
Oh, okay. So it could be adults going back to school.
Yes,
and it's strictly about computers.
It is strictly about computers. And we are also planning to come up with this transcendental meditation for that. So that they can have good mental health. So
like a consciousness-based education, like at MSAE or MUM.
Yes.
So that's fantastic. And so having a way, and so the reason you'd want meditation in there is why? For somebody who doesn't meditate, why would they think that's a good thing?
I would apart from imparting education, I would like them to take care of their mental health also. So this conscious-based education would really help them to be a better human being. Apart from that, they will have more clarity in their thoughts and ideas which they can apply and they can be more creative actually.
Great. So by finding... For instance, one of the things I really like about consciousness-based education is that it's not just about expanding what you know, but who are you to know what you know? So who am I? And allowing myself to grow and expanding my consciousness to be able to learn more, to do more with what I'm learning. Because it's not just about the details. I say, I was a professor for a bunch of years. And one of the courses I taught a number of times was about lifespan development. And one of the big people in lifespan development is Piaget, for example. And in Piaget, like Freud and Erickson, there's a number of stages. And what's interesting, what I tell people is, for the life of me, I don't remember the dates of those stages. I've taught this course a million times. I've read everything there is on, for example, Piaget or Freud. I've read text and huge books on this. But it doesn't mean I remember the details, because I could ask Siri and in, less than 5 seconds I can have an answer to anything I want. What's important is the context. Who am I? How am I using that information? And so I imagine at a school like yours, even if it's something so concrete like computers, I still have to integrate with how am I using that information, that knowledge, to do something more with my life, right?
The answer is yes. See, basically, when you are having this conscious-based education for something like computers, you are just trying to work with a machine, and you have to be really patientful with that machine. A. B. This education will really help you to boost your own self. And if I'm not wrong, there's a phrase in the Bible which says, "Know thyself."
Yes.
And that is the most difficult job in the world, actually. We sometimes really don't know why did we behave like that at that point of time. Actually, consciously, we don't want to behave like that, but we have done that. So doing this conscious-based education or having this conscious-based knowledge makes you a better human being. It tries to train you in a better direction, actually, and gives you a clarity who you are, where you want to go, and what you want to achieve. So basically, it gives you a line, a path, a direction for thinking, actually. And it makes you more substantial, actually.
Fantastic. And so right now, with this school, you've been running it a number of years, and it sounds like it's incredibly successful. So congratulations. I'm
Thank you.
Very impressed. And in fact, one of the things I'm going to ask you later is how I can contribute, because I know nothing about computers really, but I do know a few things, so maybe I could be of service to you guys someday.
See, I mean, you know what kept me going from the last so many years? I never thought of that we came so far. Because when I see at those happy faces, and it's like a symbiotic relationship between me and them. When I see those happy faces, these are the ones who really gave me that feeling of fulfillment that we have, actually. If I could not have got that computer institute there, they might have not seen computers may for many few more years. And they are there, so I feel more fulfilled that yes, I'm trying to invest my time in the right direction. Maybe I'm just trying to make difference in some of those lives, actually.
But by doing so, they make a difference in your life.
Yes.
I say about the symbiotic relationship I'm in with clients. And I've said this to a number of clients. And so here's a little secret I say to clients is that I say, they'll often thank me for the work that I'm doing. And sometimes it's incredibly profound work that, we do in my world. And I say, yes, I'm glad you're thankful of me, but in truth is you're a blessing to me.
Right.
And I think blessing is the correct word, because if you didn't exist, I mean, I'm just talking. You're allowing me to get paid to talk.
Right.
I mean, my God, I'm the most fulfilling job in the world. You pay me to talk. And I just get to sit there, and you're allowing me to do my dharma, what I'm here on this world to do. Mm-hmm. If you didn't exist, if you didn't want to change, if you weren't open to this, I couldn't exist. I couldn't do what I'm here to do.
Yeah, actually, after being a mother of two very young children, I'm really thankful to them for being my children, and I'm really thankful to my students back in university for being my students, because they make me realize if my children are there, they make me realize, as we say, when a child is born, a mother is born. So they help me to have a mother in me. My students help me to have a professor in me, and they really. I'm really thankful to them for being so, receptive for whatever I was trying to give them.
I want to kind of switch gears here.
Yeah, but I want to hear about, you have the same kind of thing. I mean, you're a mom.
Yeah, I am.
And you do lots of things to make a difference in this world, and
I try.
You're a very spiritual person.
Very much so.
And so I would think you'd see the world in a similar way.
Oh, I think that we met. Whenever I met Promila, I had to interview her for a story, and we've been friends ever since. It's just kind of like I met my sister who was born in India.
Thank you so much.
She truly is. But one of the things, and definitely I agree with what you're saying. I definitely am a spiritual person. I want to do the best that I can in this world. And yeah, I was actually able to help out a very tiny bit with her school, and just finding out who I helped. She sent me some photos of the young people that I was able to just help. It's so, and everybody out there who's listening, remember, we're talking about a school in India here. So where it may cost us thousands of dollars to get that 6 months worth of education. For them, you're talking a couple $100s. So I was actually able just to help one or two students, and to be able to do that is so gratifying to know that somebody's life is changing. And what I wanted to...
it's direct,
absolutely.
Which is nice. So it's not like you're worried about it going to some middleman or something.
No, it's right... Here she is, sitting right here in the flesh, teaching over at MUM, you guys.
And getting rich.
We're in Fairfield. Yeah, she's getting so rich, sending half of her salary back over to India to help, to help her school.
Least paying schools ever, but yes.
But one of the things that I think... that I found that was so profound about her and her school. She had so many wonderful stories to tell, and I hope that she does share some of those with the listening audience today.
Yeah.
But someone who's able to raise their status has to help their mental health inadvertently.
Oh, absolutely. By the way, you're listening to Mental Health Matters. Nice segue there. I'm KRUU 100.1 FM dial. And these shows are archived here at KRUU, also at ArdenCenter.com, where you could go to the media tab and pull out YouTubes of these. And today we're with Nicole and Promila, talking about this fantastic school in India, which is just fascinating, really hearing the conception of it and what you're trying to do in a narrow pocket to make a difference in this world. And we're just, Nicole, you're bringing up the point about by social status or social economic status, SES. And what's really fascinating about that is one of the greatest predictors of mental health difficulties is SES. If you have low education and low economics, you will pretty much guaranteed to have mental status issues. You know, I'm not saying that so nicely.
Yeah,
but
so that is there. Actually, starting with this school, we just hired an office boy. As you know, in India, we have the concept of an office boy. So this boy...
I don't know what an office...
Office boy is somebody who gets you coffee, who cleans your tables, who cleans your office. So he's an office boy.
Can you come over here? I need some...
I'm sure he'd love to come over.
Yeah, sometimes.
I'm just asking, you know.
Everybody wants to help you, Scott.
Just saying,
I can always come, and you don't have to pay to me also. But remember, you might get a crazy computer scientist.
Yeah, that's all right. That's fine.
You might not want.
We're all crazy. Okay.
So we have this office boy who was helping us, and he was just 8 years old. He was just 8 years at that time.
8 years.
8 years.
Why isn't he in school?
So that was the point, actually. He was from a part of a rural India, and his parents cannot afford to educate him, so they just send him to work. And the most beautiful part of this story is that in the last, say, 12 years, that boy has really grown up. Now he is 20 years. Up to my surprise, he knows all the operations of computer. You might be surprised to know that he really helps students in the lab to come out of some difficult situation. And I have never ever taught him how to work with computers. It was just, he just learned
being
himself.
in that environment. Being in that environment. That's
in the
amazing.
environment, actually. When I used to just take these lectures, he used to just watch me, and I never knew that he is such a keen. He has such a keen vision. Actually, I realized this fact that as one day when I stepped into the institute and all the computers were open. I asked him how these computers are open. I have put on a password. He said, "It's me who has opened this." And I was like, "How do you know the password? You're totally illiterate." He said, "No, see, it is very simple. Just press these keys and you will get the password." And I was surprised. But I felt so happy that my time and energy, they are not getting waste, actually. So that is the best part.
And so for somebody like that, by him learning more and him growing with something, do you notice his mental status growing? In a more stable and strong and on and on.
Yes, I mean, I think you're the right person to talk. I mean, to comment on that, because in the last 12 years, his mental status and his social status had really grown up. So, see, with having this education, his mental status has risen, his social status has risen. Now he has a better understanding and he can take more better decisions than the same children of his age from the same locality actually.
Wow.
So
Wow.
that is the difference that we look ahead. That is the difference that we can see in that. So that is the best part of this whole thing.
Are there other stories over the last several years where you've noticed
Oh, yeah.
people
She's got some amazing
shifting,
stories.
not just being able to learn out of difficult circumstances, but psychologically how it's made an impact as well?
If I just share the social status, we have in organizations you have like grade 4, grade 3, grade 2 and grade 1. So they're like the grade 1 are like presidents and then so on and so forth. There was a person who joined our institute and I knew this person is an office boy in some other university. He started educating himself with the computers, and up to my surprise I found that boy one day sitting on in the security area and issuing tickets or passes for the person to go in. I was surprised. I said, Sunil, his name was Sunil. I said, Sunil, how come you are a computer operator now? He said, Madam, I took that education from your school and see that has changed my life. So imagine this boy was a grade 4 person and he has moved on to a different grade altogether. Now he was a grade 3. So now you can easily, you are the right person to comment and see, I could see that happiness on his face. See how education matters actually.
So education really does matter.
Yes, it
absolutely.
does. Yeah.
I mean, we all know that instinctively, but it's like seeing it over and over
Day
again.
to
It
day.
must be very
Yeah.
powerful for you.
It is indeed very powerful for me. I always feel that I have this small nursery from where I just distribute flowers. So this is how I can say about that. Like we have an instructor with us now. She is training our students, and the most beautiful part about this girl is that she joined our institute in the year 2006. At that time, she simply did her high school, and she was from a Muslim Orthodox family. Her father was keen to ask me that how can he educate her daughter. Looking at me, he was very inspired. So I told her that why don't you send her to do her undergrads and then grads. From her family, she is the first one who did her master's in human resource.
Wow.
She did her MBA. She has undergrad's degree in computer science, and she is working as an instructor with us. I'm really proud to see her, like simply putting girls that only you have to marry and you cannot do anything else. Look into their potential. That is so beautiful. She is working with my institute, and I have full faith that she's just doing the right job actually.
So in your society, so you said she's Muslim, right?
She is Muslim.
Is there an issue with somebody being Muslim versus being Hindu versus being Christian?
Actually, in this city where I live, we don't have any issues like Muslim versus Hindu versus Christian. We all live in harmony. The beautiful part is that we celebrate all the major festivals, be it Christmas or Eid or Holi and Diwali that we have for Hindus. We are in harmony with each other. The thing that really bothers me was that these Muslim girls were not allowed to step out of their houses in that vicinity. So looking at me being a lady teacher, the parents started sending their daughters, and that what made the change actually from the last 12 years.
So the fact that you modeled that as a woman, you don't have to be just married and don't
Exactly.
be passive.
As a woman, I model that as a woman you have so much of potential, you have so much of creativity that God has given you. And like I always tell that I have been told by one of my teachers that a literate mother gives a literate society. So if I am literate, I can make my children literate. So that is the main agenda of opening that school. I always welcome everybody from the society to be there and have computer education. Especially, I have soft corners for girls.
Okay, I'm sure. But
Seeing as you are a girl.
Because they really need encouragement actually. Sometimes we
Right.
get biased with boys, and so I really don't like it because I have been raised like that. So being in America makes me realize that I was raised as more like an American actually. My parents were very, very liberal, very open, and I was like a tomboy type of person.
You were blessed.
I'm really
You were
blessed.
Yes.
But, I think it's always an interesting question for all of us to come back to is blessings are one thing. having God-given talents and abilities
Right.
is one thing, but choosing to do something with them and not get trapped by them is another. We all have gifts, we all have talents, we all have abilities, we all have circumstances. And sometimes they're very, very bad circumstances, or we have limitations. You know, I've talked about my learning disability, you know, and we all have some limitation. The question isn't, are we in a wheelchair? Because we're all in a wheelchair, we just don't see it. The question is, what are we doing with it? And how are we getting trapped by it or not? And the fact that you not only didn't get trapped yourself because you had the blessing of parents, but you also took that blessing and did something and you ran with it. And so, you know, that's where the hat goes off to you. It's not, okay, you're smart. Okay, great. No, it's that you did something with your intelligence.
Right.
And didn't get trapped by circumstances.
So-
or society saying, oh, you're just a
Right.
girl and you shouldn't do something.
That quickly reminds me of one of the saints saying. He said that if you're as tall as a date palm tree, how does it matter? Because you are not able to give shadow to others.
Mm.
So even if you're so tall, how does it matter that if you are present and if your presence cannot make difference in somebody else's life, what is the point of
What
you
does it
being
matter?
present actually?
Right.
So I really like those lines, and I just started thinking that God has given us the supreme form. Human beings are said to be the supreme form of God's creation. We have that mind, we have those resources, so we should do something. See, river does not drink her own water, trees do not take their own
Wow.
fruits.
Now there is
So
a thought.
see,
Yes.
this is the beauty
Yeah.
of being a human being, that you can do so much. So why should you just sit back and look into? Go ahead and do something actually.
And I have a point that I'd like to make on that.
Yeah,
And Scott,
please.
this is going to like wrap back around to you. You know, whenever you think about mental health, and I think about depression, for instance, a lot of times people, they're feeling depressed and they seclude.
Yeah.
You know, they don't want to be, don't want to
They
give. They may
isolate
have,
themselves
they
and- yeah,
isolate.
yeah.
They may have gifts, and it could be more than just depression. You mentioned, did you say learning disability? I think about dyslexia. And
Yeah.
a lot of times, and then those two are dealing with mental health, and a lot of times people feel like, well, how can I give if I have maybe something that's holding me back, like depression, or like, you know, we talked about the SAD disorder last week.
Seasonal affective.
So,
Yeah.
you know, whatever it is that's holding me back.
What do you think?
Yeah.
I just wanted to add one thing to that even if you're depressed or you're feeling laid back or whatever, please look around yourself and see there are so many who have not even got that what God has given you. So go out, reach to them. When you will find people who are deprived, then you will realize that God has given you a lot. So you will start thinking, and the point is that be more positive and look into those lives and see how you can bring happiness, because when you will bring happiness to their lives, that is a symbiotic thing. It will come back to you.
That's right. And it doesn't mean you got to get trapped by it. You're not here. So the other side of that coin is sometimes people become codependent. They like, I need somebody to need me kind of thing.
Right.
And it's like, no, I'm not getting lost in just serving to serve. I'm serving and then bringing it back home again. It's like Campbell's The Hero with a Thousand Faces. I come back with that boon of that being able to make a difference in the world, to bring it back home again, to enrich my life so that I can be a better person, so that I can go back out again.
Right.
So we're just about out of time.
I want to mention a book real quick.
Oh, really?
Because it's speaking of giving, because this woman is like, she's just a giver.
Yeah.
She's an amazing person. Really quickly, she just wrote a book that was published in
Machine translation actually.
Yes,
So
she's going to tell us about it.
So we're gonna do this on our. Can we do another show on this book?
yeah, sure,
Oh,
we can
that'd
do
be so
that.
cool.
Another show
Yeah.
on that.
Okay, but now mention the book and mention the website. So if somebody's remotely interested in finding out about what you do, how they can find out.
Sure, I will. And
Okay.
it was great talking to you guys.
So what's the book and what's the?
So the book, like I have a website where you can reach me on promila.in. So that website promila.in will give you the information.
Oh, can you maybe so we'll have it.
Absolutely. So Promila.in is spelled P as in Paul, R as in rope, O as in Oscar, M as in Mary, I as in India, L as in lollipop, A as in apple, dot I as in India, N as in Nancy. So that's Promila.in.
Wow, she is very articulate, isn't she?
Oh,
okay,
stop.
Thank you, both of you guys, and
Thanks for having us here.
Oh,
Thanks.
thank
It was
you
great
guys.
talking to you.
So
Thank you.
fun. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks for
Bye. See you. Bye. See you. Bye. See you. Bye. See you.